Welcome back. Let's get some further updates and quick ones too from Borno this time. I mean, we'll crisscross some of the states and just get some information. You heard the Force Public Relations Officer say, well, the CPs are to coordinate their specific states where they have those challenges. And Maiduguri, well, if you look at some of those maps, which will come up much later, they have to ensure things are in top shape. So Abdul Mahar joins us now, the Commissioner of Police for Borno State. He joins us from our studios in Maiduguri. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today. Can you hear me loud and clear? Mr. Moore, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you right now.
Okay, so go ahead and tell us, what should the citizens of Borno expect? Because we have hosted some governorship candidates on the program here. They raised concerns about their campaigns, how they were being intimidated and harassed, and they really wanted a lot more protection and visibility of security agencies to ensure that people come out and vote uninhibited. What is the force doing to ensure that there's peace and people are about to go voting tomorrow?
Well, thank you very much for this incisive approach. And indeed, in Borno State, whoever will come up and say that the security is not effective, and as such making comments, I think I should have a rethink. In Borno State, we have developed inter-agency approach. All the security apparatus in Borno State are engaged in providing security, and secondly, we equally have the access where we meet and discuss. From inception, we are able to provide an enabling environment, leveraging on our initial security architecture. You know, Borno State infested with a lot of insurgency, and we have been on for quite a long time. The entire area is very peaceful. And we have provided enough and adequate security during political campaigns. And the only incident of the PDP that occurred, which has been tackled, I think for any gubernatorial aspirant to come up with an assertion or the suggestion that police have not been effective or they have been intimidated in areas of campaigns, I don't think that one is quite online. All the gubernatorial aspirants have been given adequate security provision. Indeed, yesterday and the day before yesterday's, two major contenders have gone out and security have been beefed up, and we have never received any negative report from their campaigns. The entire Borno area is very peaceful, and the last election is a testimony. There was no any complaint against the police, and we have done the needful. And after the process, we debrief our men, and even at the access level, we have reviewed all our strategies, and it is anticipated that in the coming election by tomorrow, it is going to be more purposeful and objective, and we are going to have credible results. Thank you.
Indeed, you've already highlighted, Mr. Umar, thank you again for joining us. You've highlighted the fact that Borno State is unique in terms of some of the security challenges that it faces. We understand that in the February 25th elections, there were attacks by Boko Haram insurgents in a particular location, but they were dispelled anyway. How are you so sure that for this March 18 elections, you're not going to be having the same scenario?
Well, thank you very much. You see, we continue to review our threat assessment, and indeed, we leverage on our initial plan, both the military and the police and other security agencies, where we disallow the miscreants to carry out their nefarious activity, and as such, that very particular day, because they don't have a space, they went to one of the mountainous area, which is Goza, and fired some missiles. Honestly, there's no way that the whole entire environment can be scanned and equally can be fortified. if they feel they still have to go to that place, I believe we have equally strategized, and the Air Force have taken proper necessary action, because like today, this morning, I woke up and I saw the helicopters, Air Force helicopters, going around. They have already commenced, because since we had that experience, we are not going to give them more space. They don't have opportunity to operate under the last 4 years election. They equally fired missiles about which landed very close to the airport and other places. Mentally this time around, they don't have the space, and that is why they are going to that place. And I believe with the experience we had just last election, both the military and the police have taken necessary action to prevent them from any mishap.
Will elections be happening in all the local government of Borno, or, I mean, as we've had before, knowing that, you know, some areas were still unsafe, some constituencies were merged into other constituencies. How safe is it right now in all the local governments for the elections to take place in all of these local governments?
Honestly, Borno is largely peaceful. We only have 2 local governments where election could not be held, which is Guzamala, and where they have been relocated to Nganzai, and Ran, which is Kalabalgi, has equally been moved to Gala. This is to ensure the safety of both the voters, the INEC staff, and the property involved for the election. And I believe in all the places, election will be conducted peacefully. We have the last experience where we had no hitches, apart from that firing, which did not disturb the process.
Well, there's word on the streets that when opposition parties put up posters of their candidate or who they want to be voted, that they're usually attacked by some elements of the civilian JTF. Have you heard about that? What is the force doing about it?
This is the scenario I have earlier on told you, that of the coming of the Excellency, the Vice President, who is the candidate of the PDP. And that was the last, and since then we have been having interaction with all these political parties. I'm telling you that Borno is safe and free. There are no infringements on violation of placement of poster. There's no attack anymore, because when it happened, we were highly reactive, because we made arrests, and over 30 of these political talks were charged to court, and that brought about calm in the entire area, and the area is just quite okay and peaceful. I believe we are going to have a credible and free and fair election.
What is the situation with the arrest that you made? What stage are you with that now?
Well, they have all been charged to court. They have all been charged to court, and that is in collaboration with the INEC. These 30, I believe, most of them have been prosecuted, and the idea is, I cannot statistically told you whether they pay fine as per the Electoral Act or they be sentenced to imprisonment.
So on election day, what areas, because I mean, we know that Borno was faced with some insurgency. So what should people expect in terms of areas that they should freely go around and vote and areas that people should stay away from? What would you advise?
Well, my advice is for all the citizens, more especially the eligible voters, to come out and cast their ballot. Borno is entirely, apart from the 2 local governments I've told you, and it's not that the 2 local governments are infested with insurgents or terrorists. No, the Ran area is issue of flood. It's overflooded with water. As such, it's not going to be easy for the exercise to be conducted. And Guzamala has been the only local government that we don't have settlements. Not that Boko Haram are there, but you know, their facilities don't have facilities, because for over 10 years the place has been isolated. And just my appeal is for everybody to come out and exercise his franchise to cast ballot to whom he desires. And I believe this ballot will be safeguarded and it will count.
All right, let's bring in our colleague in Lagos. Go ahead, Ayo.
Chamberlain, and I'd like to reference some of the information you shared earlier, Chamberlain, from that slide that was given to us by our friends in Yaga. And that's the basis of my question to you, sir. Talking about security in Borno State. Borno State, you know, over time, based on some information available to us, has had, as part of its election manipulation risks, voter suppression is one of them. Borno State is listed in that regard. Is one of the states, one of the 33 states listed as capable of voter suppression. Borno State also has a history of election fraud and as well as election litigation, all of them with their various indicators. I want to assume that you have, at least from your own level, there are lessons that have been learned from the presidential elections and presidential and National Assembly elections. Are there any way in which some of these things manifested during that election, and what was done about them, and how do we get ahead of it this time so it doesn't repeat itself?
Well, I believe the process is for individuals who are eligible to vote to go and cast their vote. It is equally, I think, it's the responsibility of the INEC to ensure that this manipulation, as you have said, or as identified by, is it Yaga, to come up and say and make a clear statement. The responsibility of the police is to ensure safety of the voters themselves, the INEC staffs, and the materials, and ensure that the process went well. The issue of manipulation, I wouldn't know. The documents are not with me, and if Borno has these characteristics, I believe there's a lot of litigation, and the aftermath of the litigation will always prove that actually there was that fraud. But if after the election there was litigation and it went through the court process and the status quo was maintained, and I don't think this could be an assertion.
Well, Mr. Umar, the indicators for the first of them, which is the voter suppression, includes vandalization of INEC offices and election materials, unavailability of PVCs for all registered voters, and theft of PVCs. The ones that concern the police, I would imagine here, is the vandalization of INEC offices and election materials, as well as theft of PVCs. Are there any cases in which these happened in any part of Borno State at all? And was there any reaction from the police to it?
Well, I've not gotten you very well, but I believe you are talking on the issue of vandalization,
yes,
of INEC offices,
yes,
and properties. So, and look, to tell you that so office of INEC has been vandalized. In Borno State, the INEC offices are very, very well secured. I told you we are leveraging on our initial security deployment. We have sufficient military personnel here, and we have sufficient policemen and civil defense that will man all our critical infrastructures. We have never had the experience of vandalizing any of the INEC offices. But it is natural in the course of the process, at a particular polling unit or at a particular point, there may be a kind of friction which may result in destruction. But as I'm telling you right now, I don't have any suspects who violated or who committed an offense on election day or election duty that will warrant prosecution. Everybody his eyes is open, and if there are such people, alarm might be raised, more especially if it's in the polling unit by the presiding officer whose statement is very key in the prosecution. But I'm assuring you that Borno is very peaceful, and we don't have any issue of vandal, apart from the issue we have earlier on discussed of the destruction of posters, and which will put an end to that.
Peculiar behaviors of people in Borno State, and especially in terms of security, because as you said, it is only natural that people who have candidates of their own that they favor, they would want to do whatever it is they can do to ensure that, I mean, they assist them in getting to office and all of that. Are there behaviors that you may have seen that could compromise the peaceful process and safety of voters that will come out to vote in Borno State tomorrow?
Well, I've not gotten you quite clearly, but what I can be able to grasp is that issues that could tend to make individuals support the manipulation activity. Well, I've not seen it, and everybody has his free will to make his choice. And definitely in the process, there may be infringements here and there, and that was why we have the electoral law, which specifies offenses in the Electoral Act, and definitely we are not relenting. Any electoral offenses we have seen, which is outside the polling unit, the police make arrests. And any offenses being committed in the polling unit, at least we need an input of the presiding officer who will identify that offense and inform the security agencies. And you know, 38 meters away from the polling unit, we have armed policemen who are patrolling. And the polling orderly or the policeman, the security in that place, can be able to even wave hand and call them to come and pick that that individual who committed that infringement. And definitely he will be prosecuted, and he will carry his cross.
All right, Mr. Omar, as you wind down on this one, can you tell us, some persons were arrested in Borno concerning the market fire. What is going on? Were they responsible for setting the place ablaze or what?
No, thank you very much. On that particular question, the persons were not responsible for setting ablaze the fire, but in the aftermath of the fire, they engaged in looting people's property, and we were able to apprehend 50 of them, and these 50 have been prosecuted. And the owners of this property came to the police command and equally identified such of their problems that make the prosecution to be easy, because the property has an owner and is movable. And they have all gone to court. I believe out of the 50, only one lady went scot-free, who happens to be a passerby, and in the course of the police action, he was picked. The 49 have been imprisoned.
Have you arrested anyone connecting who was probably involved in setting the place ablaze?
No. From the present investigation, current investigation, as at now, the source of the fire could not be ascertained. However, it emanated from even a visitable location in the market. And on that particular day, the market was closed. It was because of the election. It was just the following night that this market was engulfed in this fire. There were, apart from the police investigation, the state government has equally established a panel of inquiry to ascertain the possibility and what causes the fire. But it has not been fingered to any individual or group.
Well, the force, they put up a statement saying that no police officer is expected to accompany any private citizen or VIP whatsoever to any election place for voting or whatever purpose, or to help manipulate the result or influence anything. Have you given that directive to your men that they should comply strictly?
Definitely. All orders and circulars and directives from the force headquarters are equally being disseminated to the subordinate officers. I have given that directive, and the issue, we have to be so clear that the directive is not saying that a security personnel cannot go to that place. Importantly, nobody should go to the polling unit with arms, but when you are escorting the president to go and cast his ballot, or the governor to go and cast his ballot, he must move with the level of security, more especially if there is distance, but they are not to go to the polling unit. After casting his ballot, they will escort him back. 38 meters away from the polling unit, armed personnel can move around and ensure they patrol the area, and make the process secured.
All right, then, Mr. Abdul Umar, Commissioner of Police, Borno State, thank you for talking to us, and all the best to you and your men.